It's more than just your output, more than a bike. When you hear your shout out, you know it's all right. Put on your magic pants and let's go. We're cruising into the power zone. Clip in, set yourself free. Come on and take a ride with me. You know what you need to know and what's it all about. Everything you need, it's on the Clip Out.
Hey, a quick note on this week's episode.
Yeah, we screwed the audio up, so I apologize that it sounds really bad.
Yeah, I think hers sounds okay. Mine sounds like dog shit, but she's more important, so that's all that matters. It's even funnier because in the opening we brag about our fancy headsets that weren't hooked up properly.
Yeah.
Which we've used.
User error.
Yeah. We just wanted to warn you that the audio on this is going to be a little rough, and we didn't want to have to re-record it because we're on vacation.
I got a little crabby.
Yeah, and by a little, she means a lot. Anyway, here's this week's episode. Don't worry, next week's will sound like you're used to it hearing, and we appreciate your patience, and thank you for listening.
Thank you. Welcome to the Clip Out Podcast, episode 415. This is Crystal O'Keefe.
And this is Tom O'Keefe. We are in Disney.
We are.
So our audio sounds different.
Yes.
Some people are really attuned to that. Not everybody.
Yeah, no, that's true.
But,
absolutely.
We're not using our fancy big microphones at home. We're using our fancy headset microphones.
We're on the go.
We look like we're about to do play-by-play for the NFL or something.
Yeah, although I don't think this will be as exciting as the NFL.
I don't know. I think the NFL is pretty boring.
Okay, that's fair.
So I'm not the best person to ask. So we should also say if you were watching on the YouTube this week, you are not watching on the YouTube. You're only listening on the YouTube.
Yeah.
Because we're both in swimsuits and nobody wants to see me in my bikini. No, it's just too much of a hassle to figure out the video and all that.
Well, it's going to be practically impossible to get the video to upload in any way, shape, or form. So we're just going to do it without the video this week.
So just have to muscle through.
Yeah.
What, pray tell, do you have in store for people this week?
We are going to talk about Peloton's new secondary store that they are launching, Powered Up, and then we are going to talk. Huh?
Repowered?
Repowered? Was that what it's like? Okay. I don't know. It's
vacation
like,
people.
Yeah. We'll get there. When we get there, we'll talk about it.
Want it all.
We're going to talk about people losing their goddamn minds about programs that they don't even use on a few devices. And then we'll talk about people actually having real legitimate complaints as well. We are going to talk about the customer service that Peloton is providing and how people are feeling about that. Also, we've got some leaderboard ranking updates, and we have in the news for instructors, we have Tunde update, Callie Gullickson update, Arzon update, and well, Tunde is part of that one as well, actually.
It's a Tunde twofer.
It's a Tunde twofer. We also have artist series. We have some competitor news, and we are going to talk about content as well.
Awesome. Well, before we get to all that shameless plugs, don't forget we're available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartTunes. Wherever you find a podcast, you can find us while you are there. Be sure and follow us so you never miss an episode. Maybe leave us a review. That is super helpful and greatly appreciated. You can also find us over on Patreon if you would like to support the show. Patreon.com/theclipout. For $5 a month, you get all sorts of bonus content. You get ad-free episodes for the main episode. And if we get them early, you get them early. And we've been getting them early because Crystal's been rocking it on the editing. So it's been faster than ever. So we should also point out for the Patreon subscribers, there will not be one this week because we're on vacation. But we will return next week with your regularly scheduled programming. Also, you can find us on Facebook at facebook.com/theclipout. While you're there, like the page, join the group. Check us out on YouTube, but I guess not this week because you can't.
Well, I mean, they can still check us out on YouTube.
There, but you won't be able to look at us. So, that's over at youtube.com/theclipout. And then finally, don't forget our newsletter over at theclipout.com, where we will send you all the links and everything that we talk about in the episodes. Peloton this week announced that it is launching its own secondary store called Peloton Repowered.
That's what it's called.
Yes.
Yeah, it's interesting. They are going to have a place where the whole point of it is to buy and sell Peloton equipment. I'm personally excited about this because, first of all, for those of you wondering, it is a beta launch. It is only starting in the following cities: New York, Boston, and DC. That's it for now. Full buyer access and a national rollout will be coming later this summer. But I'm excited about this for a couple of reasons. One, if you are a seller, you can earn up to $600 off a new hardware purchase by listing your Peloton equipment. So if you're looking to do a type of trade-in, this is a great way to do it. A lot of people don't want to mess with selling and dealing with things like Craigslist and Facebook Marketplace.
Yeah.
There's a lot of weirdos out there, and I don't really want them all knowing my address. Enough weirdos know our address. Thank you very much.
Now, I will say one of the problems with that, though, is if you're going to sell your Peloton because you are done with Peloton.
That's a different story altogether.
$600 off a new piece of Peloton equipment doesn't mean jack to you.
That is so true. That's a great point. So it's not necessarily going to be working for everyone, you know, but nothing does. So I guess that's okay too.
No, and I'm surprised it's not like a used record store where it's like, well, we'll give you $600 in trade or $300 in cash, or you at least get something. But I guess I figured most people wouldn't take advantage of that.
I would agree. I do think that that's part of it. But I also think that it's in beta. This may not be the final rollout is how it looks, just because it looks this way today.
Yeah, because the thing is that if this does work well and they start moving a lot, well, then they might find themselves in a position where they need inventory.
Yeah, that's very true.
And most people getting rid of their Pelotons probably aren't buying a new one.
Well,
So,
I do say I'm a little confused about this. Buyers will enjoy a $50 discount on the activation fee. Well, now wait a second. Because if you're a seller and you're selling $600 off and then they're giving it to you towards new equipment, that indicates that you are staying in the Peloton family. So shouldn't you not have an activation fee at all? Because you're still in the Peloton family. So that should only apply to people who are outside the Peloton family.
Yeah, I don't know how that would work, especially because I wonder if they're thinking you're selling a used piece of equipment and then turning around and buying a new piece of equipment.
But if you're staying, if the sellers get $600 off,
right,
to put towards new equipment, but I'm just saying you're already in the Peloton world.
What I'm saying is that it depends on how you define the word new in that sentence. If you define it as brand new, unopened box of Peloton equipment, then you wouldn't have a connection fee. If you're defining it as new as in it's new to you, you're purchasing something you didn't have before. I don't know if they've thought through if someone's an existing Peloton member, they sell a bike and they're going to buy a used bike plus from them. Are you going to hit them for $50 when they've been a Peloton member for 5 years? That's my whole point.
Yeah. And I they are saying that you only get the $600 off if it's new hardware. So that checks that box. You're only getting the $600 off if it's brand new out of box.
Yeah.
But I still think that if you are an existing all access Peloton user, I don't think you should have any activation fee whatsoever because you already are in the Peloton ecosystem.
So my thought process there is that the $600 makes it a non-issue because you're probably going to be able to get the piece of equipment you're looking at new for a price that's either the same or so close to
a used one,
a used refurbished one, that you would just buy the new one.
That could be, and maybe that's their whole goal. Just to, I don't know. But a positive thing about it is that you're going to be able to see what the pricing is up front, and you're going to have like an even keel marketplace. It's not going to be necessarily like one's over here and one's over here at this price and one's over here at this price. And you have no idea any kind of like how well it's been used or not. Like you don't know what that equipment is. I would hope going through this you're going to be able to get to those reports that they have now, that you're able to see like, oh, this is how many times the equipment's been used. That should all be part of it as well. I'm really curious to see how this process goes. Is it smooth?
Yeah.
Are there hiccups? Are there things that they have to iron out? I will be curious to see all of that.
Doesn't it also come with a warranty though?
It does.
So that's something you won't get if you buy just from
Yeah,
somebody
there's
down the
some
street.
there's some like third party reseller out there that claims you get a warranty, but that has sounded scammy and janky since day one.
Yeah.
Because how do you offer a warranty when you don't own the product?
Well, I think it's like those, what is it, Assure warranties that you can buy?
This is
Like,
a third party person that just made all this up. There's
Yeah.
no way there's no way. Like, who are they getting it through?
Right.
You can get a home buyer warranty too, but those a lot of times don't cover anything
Right.
worth value.
Yeah.
Whereas this will be through Peloton, and you will be getting their approval and their, they'll have their name behind it. Now, the downside of it, it's going to have their name behind it. They already have enough customer service issues, as we will talk about in a little bit. Is that a good thing? Do you want to be associated with people? Not everybody takes good care of their equipment. Not everybody
Yeah.
is going to be on the up and up. There are people that flat out lie. Like, how does that work? What happens
Or
then?
have sold rental equipment.
Yeah.
So it's like,
This will take care of the rental equipment.
Right.
The Peloton will know before
Yeah.
it goes out there. They can't do that.
And presumably, if somebody took poor care of their Peloton when they turned it in, Peloton would either have, one, not accepted it, or two, would have refurbished it and fixed it to the point that it would be almost like new.
And that's probably why they're giving a discount off of new hardware as well.
Yeah.
It limits Peloton's risk in that case, if that
Right.
is what they are doing. So
Yeah.
hopefully it is. That would make a lot of sense.
Yeah, for sure. Peloton programs are going away on some devices.
My
we will
Lord.
give you a moment to panic,
Yeah.
and then we will talk you off the ledge.
First of all, I just want to say programs, not individual classes.
Yeah, some people were hearing this to mean like Peloton programming.
Yeah.
And like in the same way that a TV network might refer to their shows as programs.
Right.
Right? That people are like, but like if Peloton programs, if that's what it meant, the headline wouldn't be Peloton programs going away on some devices. It would be Peloton going away on some.
Yeah,
right? Like
absolutely.
if you can't access any programming, well then that's just gone. That's not, yeah. Anyway.
So Peloton is saying that they are going to change things. Programs will no longer be directly available on web browsers or smart TVs starting on June 12th. So, questions that have come up for this. Does that apply to using the app on a smart TV? For example, Apple TV. And Peloton didn't say.
Right.
So that's a good question. If you have Roku, it's not necessarily a smart TV. You're using the app through Roku. Then is that changing?
Right.
We don't know the exact answers to these questions. I am hearing it as you're not going to be able to access Peloton programs specifically on any of those devices, but only programs. Like you said, Tom, it's going to be the classes you're still going to be able to get through.
You can still go find individual classes. You just can't do, well, I guess I shouldn't say strength for tennis because that's Strength Plus, right? So
I don't even know if that's Strength Plus, but it could be a collection and
Right.
not a program.
yeah,
And people are assuming it affects collections too. But Peloton is saying programs. That's the
Right.
only word that they have used.
right.
So I would look at it like Tunde's ARM program.
Okay.
That would be something that you will no longer be able to get. And you won't be able to get it on the web either. When I first started using Peloton and I had an Android device, I used the web all the time, the web browser, to look up stuff. And I don't do it anymore because the web is usually not that effective. It's not always as helpful as it used to be. There was a long time there where it didn't work at all, so I just got trained to use my app for everything and not use the web.
Right.
But for people that do, a lot of people will pull up their computer, like we have it right here, and they'll take a class or they'll do their ARMS program right from their computer.
Right.
You can still get to the app on your devices that have apps. So, for example, an iPhone, an iPad, your Android phone, all of those, you can still get to the Peloton app. If you can get to the Peloton app, then you're still able to access the program itself. And then you could cast that to a TV. So you still have the ability to do that. But then people's counterclaim to that is, well, if I cast it to the TV, it doesn't look as good. So it doesn't have all the options. I can't see everything that I could see before. So casting is not 100% effective. But one of the things that Peloton said here is they're going to be introducing new features soon that make programs more flexible for your needs and schedule. Now, we've already heard before that they are no longer going to be locking down the program, so I assume that's part of that.
So the programs used to work or currently work in a way that, like, if you start at point A, you have to move forward.
You do.
Them. You cannot.
And you have to do it in a certain time frame and a certain order.
Okay.
And you can only skip one class.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So everything's locked. And
Yeah.
you can't access those classes. Like Tunde with arms.
Right.
I can't go in and pick out day one, class one, just out of the Peloton ecosystem. I have to go through and subscribe to the program, take the class. Now it's in my history. Now I can get to it. Or I can get somebody with the link and they can give me the link and I can get to it. But I can't just pull that up. It only exists in the program infrastructure.
Okay.
So what I think that they're going to do is open those programs up. I think that they're no longer going to be like that. So now you're going to be able to get to those classes.
So if you want to take them in order, you can.
Yes.
If all of a sudden life throws you a curveball and you have to take it the next one within a 72-hour window and you take it at hour 75, you can still do that. Like it. So it's like, I also kind of wonder if long term this is a non-issue.
I think it will be.
They're kind of going to restructure how programs function.
That's exactly right. They say in this notification, we are introducing new features soon that make programs more flexible for your needs and schedule. But what's happening is people read this message and what they are hearing is you're taking away my ability to take all classes on my smart TV. Full stop.
Yeah.
That's what they're hearing. And they are losing their goddamn minds. And it is crazy. The messages that I have gotten, the angry screeds that people have been putting out there, whether it's directed at me or Peloton, it doesn't matter. Like, people are losing their minds. And some of it is Peloton's fault because they don't say what these changes are that they're making. So yes, that's on Peloton. They don't have answers ready that you can go to with an FAQ that explains, here's all the issues, here's how we're going to change them, here's how you're going to be able to mitigate it. All they offer is you can still take your device and cast it to your television. That's their only thing here. But on the other hand, they use the word programs, and I swear to God, 95% of the people are either skipping that word completely or, as you said, they're hearing it as programming, not programs. And I don't think that's entirely on Peloton. I think that that's careful reading. I will also say the whole world is like a tinderbox right now, and everyone's looking for a reason to fight, and everyone's looking, like, it takes the smallest spark to, like, get anybody set off these days. And I feel like this is one of those things. But people are saying stuff like, this is the last straw. Peloton's going to hell. They're going backwards. This is all the programming's going into the shitter. Like, I mean, it's people are losing their minds. And I don't think this is going to end up being nearly as big of a deal as people think it is. I don't think that Peloton would have made these changes if their data showed 95% of the people were using programs on their smart TVs. And I think in reality, it's a very small subset, and it's a vocal subset, and it's a need that they want filled. But I also think they're going to be opening up those programs, like you said. Yeah. And it's not going to end up being nearly as big of a deal as they think it is. Peloton should have said that, though. If that's the case, like, don't leave people hanging. Yeah. Why would you not say that up front?
I think that the message wasn't crafted better because the internal perception is that so few people utilize.
Well, they have the data. They see it.
Right. And so they're just like, this is going to affect such a small group of people that, like, it'll be fine. And then there are a lot of people chiming in that are probably going to completely be unaffected and don't realize it.
Yes, I totally agree with you. And why did you not get an email? You didn't get an email because you weren't on the list. You had to have been using these devices and within a significantly short time period. Like, they saw you using it in the last 60 days. That's who got the email. Right. Full stop. They're not going to send it to every single person because not every single person was affected by it. And look at the drama it's causing when it gets out there. So and yes, we posted about it because it was already out there. We didn't start the outrage.
Right. Well, if you didn't get the email, then chances are this will have zero impact on your usage of Peloton.
Yeah. But I do hope that they are more mindful of their timing and putting out, like, if you're not opening up programs now, tell people when you are, and also tell them you're opening it up. Don't say you're adding new features. Tell them what the features are.
Yeah,
or don't say anything about it at all.
Altogether.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like that's not helping the situation.
Yeah.
But anyway, just another day in Peloton world.
So we had an interesting post that someone shared with us. So there was a post over on the OPP that we wanted to talk about just because we found it amusing about Peloton and their customer service.
Yeah, it's hilarious. We're not naming any names, but it says, "What's going on with customer service? I called and explained that my seat falls off while riding, and the agent suggested I order new handlebars." What? What? And then the agent supposedly got frustrated and said, "Will you tell me what you want to order?" Well, I think they would just like their seat to work. Great example of how outsourcing to a third party when a person doesn't understand the Peloton ecosystem and what the equipment is and how it fits together. Like, what are you talking about?
That's a little more than not that's not nuanced stuff to understand that your handlebar and your seat
are not connected. No, I didn't mean that it's nuanced. I meant that a person who was employed by Peloton would know what the equipment was and be trained properly. That's what I meant.
I get that, but like if they were calling up asking about the programs thing and this person isn't getting it, I would be like, you need people that understand Peloton, but I don't think you need to understand Peloton to understand that your seat falling is not connected to your handlebars.
I agree. But again, if you're going to have outsourced, you're going to have people who are not, they don't care because they are not incentivized to be part of Peloton or give a shit about what Peloton is or how it works.
We were talking a few weeks ago about how you can now, some people anyway, could rank their leaderboard by distance instead of by how it currently works, and that is now official.
Yeah, this week a bunch of people got notifications on their app and on their computers, or excuse me, their actual devices like their bikes, etc., that said, "See your distance ranking. Now you can track your progress in classes by sorting the leaderboard by distance. Compete with other members or challenge yourself by comparing your current performance to past results." And then they had a link to what else is new. I feel like they really just wanted to highlight that they had made a bunch of changes in the month of May, and this was it. But a lot of people, there are people that are saying they still don't see this on their leaderboard, and I don't understand what that's about at all.
That's really weird to make an announcement like it's all here, but it's not all there.
I mean, I think that, going back to the changes and these kind of quiet layoffs that Peloton has done, I think there are a lot less people, and I think that changes like this, they don't think about the large implications of what it's saying to people and how it sounds to people when they do that.
Coming up after this, we're going to have instructors in the news. We're going to talk about Tunde and her swimsuit runway debut, and also an instructor has a new book available for pre-order. We'll let you know who. They made her Sports Illustrated Swimsuit runway debut.
She did, and this was a huge deal.
As someone who does not want to get canceled, this is the last thing I'll have to say in this segment.
She was definitely working the runway during the Sports Illustrated Swim Search finalists that they had. There were multiple articles about this. Sports Illustrated said, "Superstar in cherry print bikini on Sports Illustrated Swimsuit runway," and that was definitely Tunde. And then they talked about her podcast that she did. They talked about how what she's done at Peloton. They gave a whole bunch of details about her in the article. There was also a subsequent article about this that was, I think it was also in Sports Illustrated, but it was like their lifestyle section.
Okay.
And where they did like an interview with Tunde, And she talked about how impactful doing the runway was for her, and that she had gained new lifelong friends as she had participated in Swim Week. She said that she was still walking on sunshine after her runway show, and she was joined by brand models like Olivia Dunn, Jordan Childs, Lauren Chan, and more. And she also shared about it, of course, on Instagram. She has really been kind of gushing about how enjoyable this whole process has been. It is not too late to vote for her. The voting is open for an entire month.
Oh, wow.
And she is in the top 6 for 2026.
Okay.
So that's how this works every year, apparently. If you didn't get a chance to vote for her yet, don't worry. You did not miss your chance. You have the entire month of June to vote for her.
That sounds awful.
Why?
Can you imagine? Like, I guess it's different if you're Tunde or Jordan Childs, and it's probably true of anybody who is competing at this level. But I'm like, to win a contest where we're like, yes, we will feature you in a swimsuit in our magazine 1 year from now. So hold
that.
Hold everything where you're at right now.
Don't change.
No carbs for the next year.
But just because she's going to be the model next year doesn't mean they won't shoot that for a year.
No, that's fair. I was just hearing it was like.
And 2026 is only 6 months away,
Yeah.
so I'm betting they'll probably be shooting that in the fall.
Stay in peak physical condition for the next 12 months.
Well, I will say Tunde has been very successful at being in peak condition for quite a while. But
sure.
Congrats to her for having the opportunity, and good luck to Tunde. I hope that she wins. That would be super, super cool. But being part of the experience in general is amazing.
Yeah. While we're speaking of Tunde, her and Robin Arzon are going to team up at Hyrox.
So it was this past week.
Okay.
They already did it.
They teamed up at Hyrox.
But yeah, they actually were a team. And I don't know enough about Hyrox to know if there's a team section all the time, or like when I did that Ironman team thing, not every Ironman has the ability for you to have like a relay.
Right.
So I don't know if this is available at every Hyrox, but in the Hyrox New York, they teamed up to do this together. But at the Clip Out, we thought it was fascinating how many instructors were part of this Hyrox.
Yeah.
Logan was there, Rad, of course, Tunde and Robin. Jocelyn came over from the UC, and I feel like Marcel was there from the UC as well. Marcel Dinkins, I know, was there, so right. I might be conflating those two, but I know Marcel Dinkins was there, and she was competing as well. Andy was there. That was his first Hyrox. And it was really interesting to see. And I want to learn more about this Hyrox. So I'm just going to go ahead and tease it right now. We're going to have past guest Chrissy Blackwood on for an interview in a few weeks. And we are going to ask her all of the things, because she still does Peloton, but she has also gone into the Hyrox world. She's been competing. She was at the New York competition. And I want to learn more about this. I want to see, is it just like CrossFit? Because it looks like it is.
Right.
I have so many questions. We're going to get to it.
What makes this different?
Yeah. And does she find it interesting that all of these Peloton instructors are in it when they have Peloton programming that they're doing? I don't know. It's like, is this just a new way to push yourself? We'll get to all that. But I find it super, super fascinating. And it feels like there's so many people involved that it makes me wonder, out of curiosity, if there's some kind of upcoming partnership, or there's something in the works.
No, that's a fair question.
Because it started off with one,
right,
and then it was 2, and now there's 10 at one Hyrox. I don't know. I've just got so many questions about it.
Callie Gullickson's book is now available for pre-order.
Yeah, and so if you've missed the news, it's her mocktail book specifically, and you can absolutely pre-order this and get it for your own if mocktails are a big thing for you. I have to say, the biggest news about this was her reel that she posted. There were very, very polarizing opinions about this. About half the people loved it and half the people thought it was the most cringe thing she's ever done.
What did she do in the reel?
Well, she's dressed up in a robe, and she's doing her cocktails at the pool, and she's announcing, she's look who's got a book coming out for pre-order. It's clearly done as tongue in cheek.
Right.
But it's also kind of not,
right,
a little bit.
Yeah.
Maybe that is kind of who she is, but she's also laughing at it.
Right.
But I think some people it feels a little cringe, and some
Gotcha.
people, like I said, they thought it was hilarious. It's just that seems to be the biggest news about it, so I thought that was kind of fascinating.
Well, I guess in today's world, if you're getting the engagement, that's all that matters.
Well, she's definitely getting engagement, so congrats to Callie for that.
The latest artist series features none other than Cyndi Lauper.
Yeah, this is great. I love Cyndi Lauper, and I love that it's kicking off Pride Month as it should. She
Yeah.
belongs there. She's been a very long and vocal supporter of LGBTQ.
Way
And
before it was a safe career choice.
yeah, like back in the 80s and,
Yeah.
and the 90s, she was doing that. I did not realize that she had a whole foundation you were telling me about called True Colors.
Yeah, she opened up a shelter for runaway teens, but I think also specifically targeting LGBTQ teens because they make up like 40% of all runaways, something like that.
Yeah, I think that's really cool. And I love that there are so many classes. There are 7 different classes that are going to be available. And that's going to include a wide variety. So there's an outdoor run, there's arms and light weights, there's going to be a yoga flow, there's going to be a ride, a walk plus run, a row, and another ride, but that one is in Germany, or in German rather. So Cyndi Lauper she has a special place in my heart. I love her. Girls Just Want to Have Fun. I loved the movie whenever it came out. Do you remember that movie, Girls Just Want to Have Fun, in the
with
80s?
Justine Bateman?
Yeah, that was one of the first movies we ever rented on VHS when my dad was out of town. My mom let me and my sister get it. After much debate with the movie person who was at the front counter because it was PG-13, and we had a whole discussion of what exactly that entailed.
Yeah.
That was like the first movie I ever got to rent. It was very exciting. Very exciting.
The first movie I ever rented, my parents owned a printing company and they were in a strip mall, and a VHS store opened up in the strip mall. So this was before the age of Blockbuster.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So,
Same here. This was like home video. Like it was like total little tiny store.
and so I went up, my parents did their printing, so they gave me my own account. My member ID number was 3. That's how early it was.
You, my friend, were an OG.
Yeah. And the first movie I rented was MASH.
Of course you did.
Because I was really into the TV show MASH, and I had never seen the movie, and so I'm like, well, I'm gonna rent MASH. And then at some point I figured out, because they had put policies into place for anything at that point, like they never gave any thought to me renting rated R movies. But then I would always try to rent rated R movies that were like, I didn't want to rent anything too racy that would draw their attention, like Porky's. So I would rent things like MASH or Beverly Hills Cop, things that like just normal kid renting a movie, didn't even know it's R. Who knew?
Yeah, I had a lot more supervision. For good or ill, I don't know, but yeah. We had very different movie renting experiences.
Yes, we did. Okay, Equinox is getting fined $600,000 by the state of New York.
I found this so funny. Not specific to Equinox. There are a lot of gyms that do this, but
I'm just glad that maybe they're starting to crack down on this kind of.
that's what amused me. How many TV shows have made fun of this? And like, was it Friends or How I Met Your Mother?
I think it was like Friends, where it was.
I want to quit the gym.
Chandler was trying to quit the gym.
Yes, it was.
Yeah.
It was Chandler, and he just wanted to quit the gym. But they are being fined that $600,000, and it is because of how difficult they made it to cancel their subscriptions. It says here that they failed to disclose subscription terms, did not provide legally required subscription acknowledgments, and lacked accessible online cancellation options, according to the Attorney General's office.
Well, yeah, I know the FTC is supposedly trying to do a click to cancel rule, which means it has to be as easy to cancel as it is to sign up, but I wouldn't hold my breath for that.
Well, I kind of forget that Equinox includes SoulCycle and other groups like that. Like Equinox is such a huge brand that it has like an umbrella, and I forget that SoulCycle is underneath that brand.
For sure.
Okay.
While we're speaking of competitors, iFit is forming a science council.
So I thought this was interesting because they're adding a council, and there have been lots of companies to add a council, including Peloton, including Tonal.
Right.
They've had them, but as one of our helper bees, Nikki, said, they're actually using the council to come up with programming, like specifically on purpose, data driven. Tonal does that too. Peloton, I feel like maybe they do, but we don't really see the results of it, or they don't talk about cause and effect. But they're going to incorporate heart rate variability, recovery metrics, and other biometric signals into its platforms to customize workouts and wellness plans. So they're going to take all this data that they're getting, and they're going to tell you, like, okay, based on how you feel today, your information that we have, these are the workouts that you should be doing. That's pretty forward thinking. My hat's off to iFit. That's pretty darn cool.
Yeah, it is.
And I hope that Peloton takes note.
Coming up after this, we're going to talk about content, all the classes that we're paying attention to, and therefore you should be paying attention to. So stick around. It is time for the TCO Top 5. You tell us your favorite Peloton classes, and then we use our Science Council to rank them according to effectivenessosity.
Okay.
Yes.
Got it.
So we will start with number 1, science approved, your favorite outdoor walk.
Yeah, so we're going back in time to January of 2023. It was a 45-minute classical outdoor walk that Bex Gentry taught. And Karen Smith loved it. She said that Bex takes you on a globetrot with the music, explaining details about the songs that show her nostalgia and love of classical music. And whether you're a fan of classical music or not, this is a must-take.
Okay. Number 2, your favorite 45-minute ride.
So Robin Arzon taught this, and it was a 45-minute 2000s ride that was aired on May 30th. Catherine Kimes recommended this, and she said, I don't take Robin's classes very often, but I enjoyed this one. It really made me breathless. I'll have to start riding with her more often.
Watch out for yellow.
Yeah, she was in gray. She was in green on this one.
I was letting Catherine know that.
Yeah. Careful, Kathy.
She hasn't done a lot. Like, watch out for yellow. Number 3, your favorite 30-minute ride.
Benny Adami is back. People are loving his 30-minute 80s ride that he taught on May 25th. Melissa Giles Hanwacker nominated this class. Benny is so fun and a hidden gem. I wish more members would see how great he is. And she takes his German classes often, but having a ride in English was a nice surprise. She also mentions that Benny pops in on other rides on demand and on Cody's live rides, and he always gives high fives.
How about that?
Yeah.
And number 4, your favorite music-themed ride.
Okay, so this was taught by Dennis Morton. It was a 45-minute classic rock ride on 5/27, and Christy Smalley loved it. She said, this is the best playlist. Who else is going to play Jethro Tull, Springsteen, Leonard Skinner, Boston, the Beatles, and AC/DC all in the same ride? You might even like that one, Tom.
Yeah, I think I'm good.
Okay.
Also, I hate Jethro Tull.
Do you really?
I do.
I don't even know a song by Jethro Tull, so I don't even know.
Yeah, I just have no patience for Jethro Tull.
Okay.
Number 5, your unstackable, the class so tough it dare not be stacked. It's a row boot camp.
Well, this class was taught by Katie Wong, and it was a 45-minute boot camp from April 15th. Melissa Solon recommended it, and it sounds unstackable to us. She said it's a challenging mix of intervals and strength with human makers to finish it up. I got to tell you, I don't know what a human maker is.
Well, after a couple pina coladas by the pool, I'll
The Human Maker Complex is comprised of squat thrusts, push-ups, renegade rows, cleans, and thrusters. That's all one exercise.
Well, mine would have had thrusters.
Okay, that's true. That is true. Woo! Well, that's quite a way to end a workout.
Yeah, no wonder it was unstackable. Mine would have been unstackable. We will now take a look at this week at Peloton. All sorts of stuff going on. We will start with Vibe and Flow Yoga.
Yeah, this is a brand new series that
I hope it's not a program.
No, it's a series.
Okay.
Shoo! It's a series called Vibe and Flow, and the first installment is going to be a 2-for-1 rigathon with Chelsea and Camila. And it's going to take place on Sunday, June 8th, 9:30 a.m. Eastern. And not only are you going to be flowing, you're going to be vibing because you're going to add in the reggaeton.
Okay. We also have Metal with Charlotte.
Yeah, which Charlotte is an amazing instructor, and I love the way she adds in these metal classes. We got a 30-minute metal ride Saturday, June 7th. Everyone loves them, so make sure that you don't miss that.
And if you're pressed for time, they got some shorter classes for you. Pilates Express.
15-minute Pilates, and it is just to get in and get it done. Those dropped on...
Like a human maker.
Yes, just like that. And that dropped on June 2nd at 9:30 a.m.
And Rising Pop.
Yeah, so we've had all these rising classes, and so this is just going to be new pop music. And Robin is going to be teaching it. It's a 30-minute class, and it drops on Saturday, June 7th at 12:30 p.m. Eastern.
It is the month of June, which means it's Pride Month, whether you like it or not. And Peloton has some Pride classes for you.
Well, I like it, and I'm excited about it. There's a bunch of classes, and this is just to start off the month. There will be more added. There's going to be Coming Out Strong Yoga Flow with Aditi. There's going to be a 20-minute Pride Pop Row with Ash. There's going to be a 30-minute Pop Walk with Maddie, and Mara will be there. So that's going to be June 7th. So you definitely don't want to miss that. She's also going to be a 45-minute on the dance floor walk plus run with Jess King. And yeah, anybody who doesn't like it, don't take the classes. You don't need to hate. And whoever is putting nasty comments on Maddie's stuff, like I have a lot of negative things to say to them. Like, I just don't even understand. Why do you care? Why do you care? Just let people be happy.
Yeah. Jess Sims is debuting Strength for Basketball. And since I don't like basketball, I'm going to go say all sorts of mean things to her on Instagram about it.
Okay.
That's what we do now.
Okay, we'll take a break while you do that.
Okay.
So this strength is going to be helpful for getting ready for basketball games. So she's got a few different kinds of classes, 4 of them altogether. 10-minute warm-up to be used before practice, before a game, or before one of the workouts. You got a 15-minute mobility, so you could do that before a lift. You could do it right before a game or on an off day. That's all body weight, so easy to fit in anywhere. You could do it right here, Tom, right here at Disney World. There's also going to be, okay, there's also a 20-minute strength, light enough to be used on game day or practice, depending on minutes, of course. And then a 30-minute strength. This one is non-game day or lighter practice day. And she has a little devil next to that one, so I think she's serious.
Camila Ramon has a strength split for you.
Yeah, now this is unofficial. She put this together, and it has a bunch of different classes that she has out there that are available, but it is an unofficial split. It's over 4 weeks, and if you want to see it, we will have it. The full link to all of the classes will be in our newsletter. You can also find it, though, on La Mila Mafia, and that is over on Instagram. They have an account, and they posted all 4 weeks of it, which is where we got it. Thank you for sharing.
Peloton is celebrating Global Running Day. Why would you celebrate that? That's not something to celebrate.
It's amazing, that's why. And it's today, June 4th. And it's also the first time. So we've talked about Peloton having, outdoor runs, and they were going to launch New York Run Club. And it started over in London. Now New York is going to have it. That is all kicking off. The very first time, London, New York, both going to have Global Running Day live outdoor classes with members for the first time ever. That's pretty cool. First group run will be taking place today, June 4th, 6 p.m. Eastern, and it's going to be a stacked 30-minute Global Running Day. This is in addition to the run that's taking place. Peloton is also featuring a running class that has Robin, Matt, Kirsten, Marcel, Hannah, and John all in one class. So awesome. That's great. Then, in addition to all of that, on Global Running Day, a 30-minute run with running legends Catherine Switzer and Susie Chan. How incredibly exciting. Yesterday, Susie posted about it. She did little excerpts from the video that she created. This one dropped on demand. And she was talking about how Catherine Switzer still runs 5 days a week, and that she actually first met Catherine Switzer back in 2018. And so she talked a little bit about their evolving friendship, for lack of a
Right.
better word, and how much Susie enjoyed getting to know Catherine, and I'm sure Catherine would say the same. There's also going to be more runs from Bex Gentry, Jeffrey McEachern. There's also new focus flow for runners dropping from Mariana. So lots of ways to get involved, and it is a big deal, Tom. It's Global Running Day.
They're pulling out all the stops.
They are, and I'm glad. Running for a long time kind of was the stepchild of Peloton. Now it's rowing.
Cliff Dwenger is combining cardio with strength.
Yeah, and he goes into a long explanation of why, and I mean, you shouldn't do all cardio. You also shouldn't do all strength. He's going to have live strength classes that are going to be taking place every Monday and Sunday. So he is adding to the strength programming.
And finally, we have a new Strength Plus program, or we don't, Peloton does.
Yeah.
It's called Build Then Burn.
Well, this is interesting because not only is it a Peloton Strength Plus program, but it also is a 2-for-1. It's a program that has Ben Aldis and Jocelyn Thompson Rule together in one program. And I'm not quite sure why Peloton is all of a sudden doubling, tripling, quadrupling down on all of these multi-classes.
Yeah.
I love it. It's a lot of fun. I'm
Right.
glad to see it, but I don't get why it's so many of them are happening all
Yeah.
of a sudden. But I think this is the first program on Strength Plus that there's 2 instructors. I could be wrong. I haven't really taken a lot.
It seems like a smart way to get people to try new instructors.
It does.
But it's also like, why haven't they been doing it for years?
That's a great
I
question.
guess because it's a smart idea.
Dang. Dang. Also, I will just say about this program, it is strength training with Ben, and then it's a tread finisher with Jocelyn. So she's kind of popping onto the treadmill. So you're getting both cardio and your strength. That's going to help you boost endurance and power up your pace at the same time.
We've got 2 birthdays for you this week. Coming up on June 8th, it is the birthday of Cody Rigsby. And then coming up on June 9th, it is Asal Arian.
Well, happy birthday to Cody and Asal.
Yes, happy birthday. I guess that brings this episode to a close. Until next week, where can people find you?
Sitting by that pool and walking around Disney World. But in all seriousness, you can find me on Facebook at facebook.com/Crystal D. O'Keefe. You can also find me at Clip Out Crystal on the following platforms: Instagram, Threads, and there's another one that I never can remember.
Blue Sky.
Blue Sky, that's right. And of course, the Peloton Leaderboard.
And you can find me on Blue Sky and Threads at Tom O'Keefe Jr. or on Facebook at facebook.com/Tom O'Keefe. You can find the show online at facebook.com/The Clip Out. While you're there, like the page, join the group, and of course, don't forget our Patreon, patreon.com/The Clip Out, where for $5 a month you get all sorts of bonus content, and we like you extra. Just a little note to the Patreon subscribers, a reminder, there is not a bonus episode this week. We did not forget. You did not get deleted. We're on vacation, so we will get you next week. And I guess I will now go lounge by the pool while Crystal edits.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
So that's it for this one. Thanks for tuning in. And until next time, keep pedaling
And running.
and rowing.
Bye, guys.